All right, the back and forth between Donald Trump and the Justice Department over the motivations behind that raid, FBI raid of his home a couple of weeks ago, has now gone just another level higher. The former president now is seeking a special master to review the materials that were taken by the FBI. We don't know legally how this works out. Politically, though, all of this has benefited the former president and galvanized some Republicans who say that he is being unfairly picked on. Karl Rove with us right now, the former Bush 43 deputy chief of staff. Karl, first off, this latest development where the former president wants details of what was taken and why, where do you think it's going?
Well, I'm not a lawyer, and I didn't stay in a Holiday Inn Express last night, but I don't think it's going to go as far as he wants, but it may go someplace. Let's go over this. August 8th, we have the search of Mar-a-Lago. That means by the 9th, the FBI has already begun to review all of those documents with what's called a taint team or a filter team. That is to say, an independent group of lawyers and FBI agents who examine each of the documents to make certain that there's not something that is say, attorney-client privilege between the president and his lawyers, or personal items. In fact, we know that by the 15th, they have identified that the president's passports, one diplomatic and two personal, those are not necessary for the investigation. Those are personal items. They're not presidential record documents. Those are returned. So they've already started to go through that material probably on the 9th, and by Monday the 15th, they've returned to him some items that are not covered by the search and are not government documents. So now we got August 22nd with the request for the special master. There's an estimate that between what was returned by the president in January to the government and the boxes that were taken as a result of the search, there may be as many as 300,000 documents. So what the president's asking is, okay, you may have studied all those things I gave you in January, and you may have had 2 weeks and a day to study the documents that you picked up in the raid, but I now want a special master to go through and examine those, and it's going to be a high bar to get to that because the taint team, long-established procedures, independent, their responsibility is to literally find things that should not be reviewed by the FBI. And they've obviously done that by returning the passport. So they're going to have to prove that there's some compelling need for a special master, and I don't think it's likely to happen.
Karl, in the meantime, the president's support has gone up, at least among Republicans, but there are a good many who fear that all this drama, whether he's liable for any of the stuff that's come up, that it's just more drama that dissuades them from backing him for another presidential run. So where do you see this going politically?
Well, look, politically, in the short run, it's been a rally around the flag moment for the former president. But we don't know where it's going to end up. And we do know this, that for the last 2.5 weeks, the political dialogue in America has not been about inflation, has not been about the southern border, has not been about rising crime, has not been about the big spending bill that the Congress passed with all the special benefits for the president's allies, the president's low approval ratings. We haven't been talking about that at all. We've been talking about Donald J. Trump. And the Democrats love that because they do not want this election to be a referendum on Biden. They want it to be a choice between Trump and Biden, or even better yet, a referendum on President Trump. And while the Republican numbers have been great and have rallied around the president and his numbers have gone up among them, they haven't gone up among independents who are going to decide the fall election. And it's taken 2.5 out of the, at that point, 13.5 weeks that we had between that day and the election, and devoted to something that the Republicans are not going to find particularly useful on Election Day.
Mitch McConnell seems to be telegraphing we might take the House, not so much the Senate, or was he just scaring Republicans?
Well, I think he was being realistic and saying, don't take this for granted. Just because it's a midterm election and we should have a red wave going. We have some candidates who are first-time candidates. They've never run for office before. We've got some candidates who said things that were necessary, but they thought to win the primary. They're not going to be particularly useful for the general election. And he's trying to shake Republicans out of complacency and say, we better all get involved in this effort. Otherwise, we will end up with a 50-50 Senate, or worse, a 51-49 or 52-48 Democratic Senate. Republican complacency, a belief that this is all going to happen on its own, that's not how elections work. They work because you have popular opinion behind you, and that is seized upon by effective campaigns and effective candidates and mobilized to make what was going to happen even bigger and stronger than what was going to happen. And and I saw the tweet from the former president attacking Mitch McConnell for saying we all got to get involved in the campaign. Mitch McConnell's raised $250 million to back Senate candidates through an organization I helped found, American Crossroads Senate Leadership Fund. He's doing his part. The question is everybody else doing theirs?
Interesting. Karl, thank you very much. Karl Rove on all of that.